Fat Tannie Leana from Despatch could light up a room with her stories, but there was one in particular that left everyone clutching their sides with laughter. It was the tale of her beloved seun, not Gerrit, for heaven's sake, Gerrit, the flaming-haired chicken farmer with a boat named Sunnie and a whale-sized dream. Every time she got started, she'd roll her eyes, already anticipating the confusion. "Gerrit, not carrot," she'd exclaim. "Some of these English folks hear Gerrit and think I'm talking about a vegetable. My boy might have hair as red as a tomato on fire, but trust me, he's no skinny little carrot you'd toss into your salad. No, Gerrit was built more like an ox that had accidentally swallowed a tractor. When he was born," Tannie Leana would say, eyes gleaming with mischief, "I thought I'd given birth to a little bonfire with legs. And the way he eats. If Gerrit was a carrot, he'd be the world's only carrot that could eat other carrots." But let's not get distracted by the English folks' vegetable confusion. The real reason this story had the whole town of Despatch in stitches was what happened down by the Swartkop's River that fateful day. It all started on a lazy Sunday afternoon when Big Boresoon Gerrit and his usual ragtag crew of pals, Skinny Pete, who looked like a toothpick, had wished to be a real boy, Lazy Koos, who had mastered the art of sleeping standing up, and Loudmouth Franz, whose voice could probably be heard from PE to Johannesburg, decided to take Gerrit's little 3-meter boat, Sunnie, out fishing. They hadn't caught much more than snook on their trips, but Gerrit had a feeling in his bones that today was different. So there they were, floating along, when Gerrit suddenly hollered, "Boys, we've got a big one here." He flung his line into the water with the grace of a man who believed he was destined to catch something legendary. And boy, did he. Skinny Pete leaned over the boat, squinting. "Gerrit," he said slowly, "I don't think that's a snook, that's a whale." Now, any sane fisherman would have immediately abandoned ship and swum for the hills, but not Gerrit. "Nonsense," he declared, puffing out his chest. "It's just a bloomin' big snook." And with the confidence of a man who had never been wrong in his life, he gave his fishing rod the mother of all yanks. Suddenly, the boat lurched forward as if it had been hit by a freight train. The whale, now thoroughly confused, must have thought it had hooked itself a human because it bolted down the river, pulling Gerrit, his pals, and Sunnie along like a floating rubber duck in a bathtub from hell. "Hold on, boys," Gerrit shouted, his red hair flapping in the wind like a war banner. "We're bringing this thing home." Lazy Koos nearly fell out of the boat, fully awake for the first time in months. "What in the," he yelled, clinging to the side like a barnacle. Loudmouth Franz, for once in his life, had absolutely nothing to say. He just sat there, eyes wide, gripping the boat like it was his last hope for salvation. Meanwhile, Skinny Pete was screaming, but it wasn't clear if it was out of terror or excitement. The little boat, Sunnie, was zipping down the river at speeds usually reserved for jet skis, with poor Gerrit hanging on for dear life. But Gerrit, being Gerrit, wasn't about to let some oversized fish get the better of him. "We're nearly there, boys," he roared, as if they were charging into battle. "Just a little more and this whale will be ours." The whale, however, had other plans. With one mighty flick of its tail, it sent the boat, Sunnie, and all its passengers flying into the air like corks popping from a bottle of champagne. They soared through the sky for what felt like an eternity before crashing down into the water with a sploosh that could probably be heard in Cape Town. When they finally swam to shore, soaked to the bone and exhausted, Gerrit, true to form, stood up, shook his fist at the river, and bellowed, "You'll get me next time, you scaly beast." And from that day on, every time someone saw Gerrit by the river, they'd shout, "Hey Gerrit, caught any whales lately?" And no matter how many times Tannie Leana told the story, it never got old. "That flaming red hair of his probably scared the poor whale off," she'd say, cackling. "Thought it was being chased by a giant carrot." So, in the end, let it be known, Gerrit, not Carrot, was the man who almost caught a whale, who tackled the impossible with nothing but a fishing rod, 3 useless friends, and a tiny boat named Sunnie. And the town of Despatch. They are still laughing about it to this very day.